I apologize for not coming out with the Premier League match of the week video, but I did come out with Napoli and Juventus and correctly predicted Napoli to beat my Juventus today. And Napoli were successful. And as a result, there are two matches in hand for Inter that they have to play. And if they win these two matches on hand against Fiorentina and Lecce, then Inter and Napoli would be tied apiece with 53 points in the table. I'm doing very good, Mike. How about you? But Napoli are going to win this Scudetto. This team has come back against Atalanta and Juventus, and now they believe they can go all the way in the Campionato this year. They don't have to face Juventus and Atalanta again. Inter, on the other hand, do have to go up against Juventus at Torino, and they have to play Atalanta. And Napoli, when you see their last 6, 7 matches of the year, they're pretty easy matches. Cagliari to end the year in the relegation zone, Genoa, Monza, and there's a few others too. But the end of the year for Napoli is going to be easy. And now, if you get through your tricky affairs against Roma and Lazio, if you're Napoli and you can defeat AC Milan, then they'll be on their way for the Scudetto because these are not easy matches to come for Inter in Derby della Madonnina, the Milan Derby, and the Derby d'Italia against Juventus. I still like Inter to win the Milan Derby to stay alive in the championship race, but at the Diego Maradona Stadium, it will be Napoli that will pick up a very hard fought result, whether it be a draw or a win. March the 2nd at Diego Maradona Stadium. Inter are going to fail to pick up the 3 points. This is Daniel Levy and Tottenham's loss. Conte, the first manager to win the Scudetto with 3 different clubs, with Juventus, with Inter, and now Napoli could be the third team that he could lead to a Scudetto as a coach and the former Inter manager and the former Inter striker Lukaku and Conte will make the Nerazzurri pay. Napoli without any European football, without any Coppa Italia matches, can be fully rested and not have to play any more matches midweek. They get Inter at home. They get Napoli at home. They get these teams at home. I think the Roma, I think they're traveling to the Olimpico next week, and they'll have to travel. I think I don't know if they play Lazio again, but they don't have to go up against Atalanta and Juventus. So Napoli and and after Inter, if they get through Fiorentina, then I think through March, April, May is going to favor Napoli. So they are going to win the Scudetto. Conte and Lukaku come back to make Inter pay 100%. Inter will have fixture congestion with the Champions League and Coppa Italia since they're still in Coppa Italia. A 4 point cushion in La Liga. Real Madrid are on their way to win La Liga. Barcelona are 7 points back, and Atletico Madrid are now starting to drop points. Real Madrid are just in cruise control right now. There's a tough Atletico derby coming up. They'll have the chance to win the league when they defeat Barcelona. Barcelona will win at the new stadium. And this is where Barca went in the Champions League when we've talked about teams going on rigged runs when they need money to finance new stadiums. So the Barcelona's got the Camp Nou renovations that they have to pay for. And so this is why Barcelona are going to go deep into the Champions League this year because it's not only about hyping up Lamine Yamal, but it's also about paying for renovations to the Camp Nou. And Champions League knockout money is extra money. So I think that's the factor that cannot be ignored is paying for stadium renovations. You saw Tottenham made a final after they uh, uh, moved into a new stadium. Roma had a project that was approved and they made it to the semifinal, I think in 2018, I think it is. You've seen Arsenal make it to the Champions League final right when they built the Emirates. So Real Madrid, with the Bernabeu renovations, have made deep runs into the Champions League. So these things in itself kind of pay for themselves when you see these teams go on these scripted results. And I think Barcelona are next. My main question with Barcelona is the defending is the only thing. I don't know how that's going to impact them, but on a mentality level, they're much better than they were with Xavi Hernandez. Liverpool have won the Premier League. Arsenal and Man City is this next week. Our Premier League sucks if Arsenal can't beat City because it's becoming boring. I think Liverpool have a 6-point lead or something, and they played one less match, so Premier League is boring. So Liverpool have a 9-point lead, so uh, they are they pretty much have a 9-point lead. They'll probably beat Everton. That match was postponed. Premier League is boring. Liverpool are going to win the Premier League. Maybe Arsenal keep their hopes alive for another week, but the Premier League is boring. Liverpool can only win it when the pressure is off. And today with Leverkusen, these guys are bottle jobs. You see, they were winning 2-0 the opening match against Red Bull Leipzig, and they scored 3 straight goals. Red Bull won 3-2. And then they scored the first 2 goals, and then these bottle jobs failed to score a third goal, and they concede 5 minutes immediately after going up 2-0. So Leverkusen's defending is terrible. They're a bunch of bottle jobs, and as far as I'm concerned, Harry Kane has won his first trophy. Too many points dropped, bottling the big leads. They blew 2-0 leads against Leipzig. So it wasn't like they were struggling today with fatigue or anything. They're up 2-0. So this would constitute a bottle job. That is a bottle job because they've shown that fatigue didn't get them from going up 2-0. So they bottled it as far as I'm concerned. But it's okay because the DFB Pokal, probably Leverkusen will win that one. So they'll probably they dropped points against Bochum too. That and they had a 0-0 draw with Stuttgart. So even on the day when your defense has allowed 0 goals, you can't score against Stuttgart. So that's gonna hurt you. Werder Bremen equalizing in the 90th minute. I'm just showing you that these Red Bull matches are not the only matches that they've bottled it this year. Holstein Kiel, aren't they the worst team in Bundesliga? They drew that match 2-2, so it's fair to say they bottled it. It's fair to say that they have bottled Bundesliga, but it's over. I think Bayern can win the Bundesliga February 15 and destroy Leverkusen, and Bayern will obviously rest players, and they can prepare themselves for the Champions League because do they have the bye for the playoff round in the Champions League? I don't think it's guaranteed this year, isn't it? Bayern, they lost against Feyenoord, so Bayern are incentivized to get this league over with because they'll probably have to play a playoff round in February. So they didn't finish top 8, so that's 2 matches I think Bayern have to play in February. So they have all the motivation is there for Bayern to take care of the league February 16 and destroy Leverkusen. And maybe this ends the Leverkusen run, and And there's always talks of Xabi Hernandez or Xabi Alonso, excuse me, or yeah, Xabi Alonso is Ancelotti's successor. But it's obviously up to Ancelotti, or maybe it's not up to Ancelotti. Maybe it's up to Real Madrid management. And Ancelotti can leave when the time comes. And basically, at Leverkusen, the project is competing for the trophy, whether it be the Bundesliga or whether it be the DFB Pokal or the German Super Cup. For Leverkusen, the project is to qualify for Champions League on a year-to-year basis, and they're in the Champions League again. So you're keeping the core players, Champions League football, Champions League money, Champions League incentives. So if Ancelotti is not gone right away, there still is something to build upon for Xabi Alonso. Even when they don't win the league, they're in the Champions League. They're in the Champions League on a year-to-year basis. Simply, it wasn't Arsenal's title this year. Arsenal bottled it. They tried to defend the 2-1 lead at halftime. They tried to defend 1-0 lead at halftime. Basically, for whatever reason, it was scripted for Salah this year in his final year. They didn't give Klopp his last title, but they scripted it for Salah to win his Premier League and for Liverpool to have a parade, because let's not forget, Liverpool didn't have a parade. So this year, Dodgers got their parade in October. Then you follow it up in May. Liverpool get their parade, and I think the Lakers get their parade because these other teams that didn't have a parade in 2020, like the Liverpool and the Dodgers won. They got their parade. Liverpool are going to win the Premier League, so they are going to get their parade. And the Lakers didn't have their parade, and because Liverpool are going to get their parade, and because the Dodgers got their parade, then the Lakers are going to get their parade. So some odd reason in 2024, in seasons that intersect with 2024, that begin in 2024. In the case of baseball, it begins and ends in 2024. The Lakers season beginning in 2024. These teams are been given parades for what was missing in 2020. But Arsenal are going to win the league next year. They'll buy a striker. They're not going to have the red cards and the BS and everything. And Arsenal will win the league next year without the Egyptian pharaoh. Without the pharaoh, the Liverpool are not winning without the pharaoh. Salah is the pharaoh. He's the king. Without the pharaoh, Liverpool are not winning next year. Chase is not the same player. He gets injured. We don't know how he's going to do in the Premier League. But when Salah leaves for Saudi Arabia or for another league, Liverpool are not going to be as dynamic as they are this year. And Arsenal will play like the 23-24 team instead of the lackluster 24-25 team. So I think all these 2-2 draws for Arsenal, it's kind of like they're going to wait 22 years. The 2-2 draw against Liverpool, the 2-2 against Man City. There's another 2-2 against Aston Villa. You see, that explains everything. That explains everything.